Hello everyone, welcome to the FN Studios. I am your host John Ramdeen and this is Fight News Now Extra. Robin Black will join me to chat about some of MMA's biggest stories. In the news today, a former champion makes it 4 straight. The middleweight picture gets a little clearer. A top 115-pound female fighter has her eyes set on the UFC, and a former Pride champion has his NSAC ruling overturned. Frankie Edgar earned a unanimous decision victory over former WEC featherweight champion Uriah Faber when the two met in the main event of Fight Night Manila. Edgar controlled Faber for the majority of the 5 rounds, but Faber still proved to be dangerous but failed to hurt the former lightweight king. With the victory, Edgar earns his 4th straight and sends a message to the division. Gegard Mousasi dominated with takedowns and top control as he cruised past Costas Philippou at 185 pounds. The Armenian rebounds from his submission loss to Jacare by winning 2 straight. Recently, the 29-year-old inked a sponsorship deal with Japanese tire company Bridgestone. Number 1 ranked female strawweight fighter Jessica Aguilar is now a free agent. The former World Series of Fighting champion has been granted her release from the company. The ATT representative would love nothing more than to make her way to the UFC, considering she already holds a couple of victories over UFC veterans, including former champion Carla Esparza. And a district court judge has reversed a lifetime ban against former Pride middleweight champion Vanderlei Silva. The NSAC issued a ban after the MMA star fled before being subjected to a drug test. The judge felt that because of insufficient evidence, the ban should be lifted. A new hearing will take place at a later date. And don't forget to tune in to FN's preview show as we get you set for UFC 187. 2 titles are on the line. Tune in to our preview show at 7 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, May 23rd. Robin Black joins me. The UFC had their show in Manila. We are getting set for one of the biggest cards in recent memory, and I know I've said that in the past, but Chris Weidman, Vitor Belfort, the vacant 205-pound championship. Derek and I were just talking about it. We think Chris Weidman should be the main event fight. This guy has established himself as the top dog, taking on Vitor Belfort, and the 205-pound championship is vacant. So Chris Weidman, in our eyes, you're the main event.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I'm cool with it. Like, I'm going to watch them both with a ton of excitement either way. But I agree with you. You got a proven champion, a guy who's beat Anderson Silva for the title, beat Anderson Silva to retain the title,
and
beat Lyoto Machida to retain the title. Yeah, he's proven to be the man against a very tough dude. And I revealed myself as a Vitor hater the other day, and then I really started to think, I really looked at it, and it's like, what are we really looking at with Vitor Belfort? Are you judging him because there's some doubt cast on that crazy highlight reel recently? And I think I am. I think this is the one that can make me eat those words. This is the one where you can look at it and go, wait a second.
He doesn't even have to win.
No, he just has to be the same phenom that he's been through the different eras of time, including that TRT era. And, you know, sometimes you get really weird and judgmental on these things. As fans, as whatever our role is, we end up really being drawn in and feeling passionately about fighters, and that's a good thing. But if Vitor can go in there and really, really put it on, I'll be a fan again. And I think I should have more of an open mind about Vitor.
The show that just happened this weekend, Frankie Edgar beats Uriah Faber. Faber looked dangerous. It seemed that he could have had a breakout round, or he could have hurt Frankie throughout that. He just failed to pull the trigger, and all it was Frankie accumulating, landing, just being so smart the way that Frankie often is.
The whole world said that Frankie Edgar was going to win that fight. He was going to be a little better. He was going to be a little faster. He was going to be a little more evolved. And everyone said it, and they were right. Everybody was right. But you try to look at it.
It wasn't 4-1.
Yeah.
Because of that. Like, when you come out of that fight, that was a 2-1. Because Faber was competitive, and it was just very strange that the odds had it like that, even though things played out the way that everybody expected them to.
Yeah, but I mean, that's good odds making, that's good analysis, that's good predicting. Everybody saw it that way. And we try our best to go, okay, we could just say what everybody's saying, but then why would you need to look for our perspective? So try as hard as you can to find something else to look at in that fight, as hard as you possibly can. And I looked at it and I thought, what other perspective could we give? And one of them is, well, if this is true, what could Faber do to win this fight? What if he really is outgunned? What can this very special fighter do to win it? My feeling was he needs to be a higher risk taker. But I watched that fight, and the higher risk taker wasn't going to do it in that fight. If he put himself in situations where he took higher risks, the most likely outcome is he got himself hurt bad by a better fighter. And realistically, if you're looking honestly at what Faber had to do to win that fight, it was go back in time 3 years and change up his training. Not be the DIY guy who is the leader of his own team and bring in a campman and whoever will do what he wants them to do. He needs to go back like Frankie Edgar is, be a blue-collar guy who does what your foreman tells you to do and develop with time. Faber has been reliant on what made him great throughout his career, and what made him great throughout his career is no longer enough.
However, true, but at the flip side, who has more fans? Who has more dollars? Is it Uriah Faber in California, or is it Frankie Edgar in New York, New Jersey? Because Uriah Faber has been able to build his brand based on his fighting style. And when people tune in to the California Kid, expect a certain type of performance.
Yeah, you nailed it. The performance is part of it, but he has become a business. He's become, being that kind of leader has made him super successful. It's made his gym successful. It's made his company successful. And it's made him successful within that. And that's great for his future life. But the guy desperately still wants to be a champion at 36. It is possible, but it's not possible as his own leader. I'm his biggest fan in the whole world. And I'm looking at it dead honestly. When you go and you build a television product or a movie or a network or a rock star or something, you have two choices. You're like, how big do we want this to be? But in saying how big do we make it, you sacrifice this other question, which is how good do we want it to be? And Faber wanted to be really big, and he's been successful with that. But if he wants to be a champion, he needs to go back and figure out how to be the best in the world again.
Uriah Faber proved to me that he can compete at 135 or 145 pounds. The guy's a star no matter what. Don't go anywhere. That's it for us. More Fight News Now extras coming your way.